Yeah, I haven't had the energy because I had to like make sure that I was taking care of myself, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've been very, very tired.
Yeah, I think I did like one or two Twitch streams with you, and it's exhausting. Like, it's not just that you turn the camera on and like do it. It's like you prepare for it, and then it's socializing, but also performing and like trying to fill time. And then afterwards, you're exhausted, and you also have to like tear everything down. And like, it's more than just like being on camera for a few minutes.
It's not a
Yeah,
So I
set
can
it and
totally.
forget it.
sadly. Also, like right now, I'm staring at four different light sources, and that's just in front of me. And then like you have to make sure that like your background looks good, which is hard for me because I'm a messy person.
Right.
And by
Oh,
a messy person, I mean,
Claude's there, so
oh
that's good.
yes, yeah, 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 he has to be there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, when I was 3, I got this little stuffed huggable named Claude. It was awesome.
Oh.
No, I didn't. That didn't exist when I was 3.
Oh, okay.
I was playing off of the 3
The
years old
3-year-old
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry. I'm digging my hole now, so
Yeah.
there we go.
Sorry.
Oh, nice. What are we bevving up today? What do we got?
Orange
Something.
flavored sparkling water, and we're
Oh,
not endorsed by this, so I'm not going to tell you what brand it is.
and Jack, you've got a sparkling something also?
yeah, raspberry lime. I will say
Mm.
polar because bears are important. I like them, and if you think about them, it's good.
I think you're a future vegan in training, Jack. You're always throwing in the super cool animal support every show. That's nice. I like it. So we've gone
That'll be
from
the day.
turtles. We've gone from turtles. Oh, he told me the other day. He's like, I've made the switch. I'm using only oat milk now for like coffees and stuff. I'm like, that's awesome. That's good. I'm glad. I'm not the militant that's like, well, why the fuck are you still eating cheese? Like, no, it's little victories.
Oh,
I
definitely.
say
Yeah.
that to myself all the time. Why the fuck am I still
Why
eating
am I
this?
still eating this cheese?
I can't stop.
Right. I'm sorry. It's terrible. We're
Cheese
gonna.
is pretty good though.
It's not. It's the worst. It's a drug. It's the same addiction as heroin. We get into this every episode, but that's how it affects your mental receptors in your
I said
brain.
what I said.
Well, you know what? I'm sure
I've
crackheads
never
think
had
crack is
grilled
amazing.
heroin before, so I can't like
Non-dairy heroin, is that what you said?
grilled heroin.
Oh, grilled heroin.
But I've had grilled cheese, and that shit's awesome.
Well, if you're gonna do one of two things, I guess the grilled cheese is better in the long run for you, for your health.
Yeah.
But not this new 20 slice cheese grilled cheeseburger thing that they have now. I
Oh
think
yeah.
Burger King's come out with. And then of course I saw a video where it's like, yeah, the dairy industry they're like dumping millions of gallons of milk because people are not drinking it. So they're paying all these companies to do these crazy cheese promotions. So the 20 slice cheese burgerless burger is the rage now.
What?
Welcome.
I don't have anything else to say about that. That's
Nope.
stupid.
That's just yeah.
Have you not
It's
seen this?
she
Huh?
probably hasn't. She doesn't like
No.
live on like YouTube and Facebook and the Twitter and the Twitcher and the TikToks and all that. It's like every other video or every other feed in your stream is this burger. I feel like it's in Japan, but maybe it's not Japan. So it's just a huge 2 buns, top and bottom, and all this in the middle is just slices of cheese.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
so
20 slices of
20,
American
yeah.
cheese.
I'm going to tell you this. I have seen it, but because I follow Kurger Bing on Instagram, I actually thought it was a joke.
Oh,
Right on.
Yeah.
we have to link Kurger Bing in the description of this
Kurger
video
Bing.
now.
Okay.
It's canon.
Wait,
No,
Zeus, do you not know?
not really.
I
Do you
don't
not-
know.
You
Really
don't know
what that
Kurger
is.
Bing?
I don't
Oh.
know.
Okay.
It's one of the most unhinged meme accounts on the internet.
We'll educate you
Please do.
after this.
Oh, after. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll put the link in there you asked for. So
Uh-oh.
I need more time waster data. So please let me know.
Everybody's gonna know that we're not serious, like cool artists anymore.
Dear
Like,
God, don't ever be serious cool art. Like that's not cool anymore. Like nerdy, not cool is cool. It is.
I'll say.
Say what?
Nah, I was like, yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
oh, oh!
We're
I was like,
definitely
well, I'll say.
cool.
I was like, did my internet freeze up again? Damn it! What's with this? Speaking of nerdy stuff,
Uh-huh.
I'm not really tying these questions. If I'm trying to, do you have a favorite video game as most influential? Something like a go-to? I know you've
Mhm.
posted kind of what your go-tos are, but if you had to pick one desert
One.
island, you're on a desert island that has video games, but not a way off the island. Like
Oh
long.
man, I mean, are we going like the desert island game? Therefore, it needs to have like high replayability value
Yeah,
because
like pretty much, yeah. So I would think your favorite game is the one you can always go back to. Like if you have a favorite movie or TV show, like you can always kind of go back to it.
okay,
I
here's
added
the
the
thing.
desert island, but it doesn't have to be desert
Bless you.
island. Ah, bless.
Here's the thing. For replayability value, it's got to be Skyrim. Duh. Also, if I'm on a desert island, I'm gonna be fucking miserable. I hate being like too hot. It's just not for me. So yeah, I'm gonna want to wander around in the snow and pretend to be like a dark elf vampire lord. But if we're going like my all-time favorite game, I think it's between Xenoblade Chronicles and Twilight Princess. Because Twilight Princess is a classic and all of the Xenoblade Chronicle games that I've played are like high emotional damage. And that's, like for me,
that's the good shit.
that's the good shit. I want the emotional damage. I just started playing Final Fantasy X for the first time a couple months ago. I've been on and off just because honestly I've been like too burnt out to even do anything fun, but that's for another time. But yeah, I played that one specifically for the music and for the emotional damage. So yeah, how about you, Jack? Tails?
Of all time is hard because I actually don't play video. I played more video games like in the last 4 or 5 months than I have probably in the rest of my life, and even that's not that much.
Wait, what about like
Um,
when you were at my house a lot?
well, then we played, but mostly I watched you play and
Okay,
like,
fair. Oh, you were backseat gaming.
yeah, I backseat game. I look up like guides and stuff when you get
Mhm.
stuck.
The gamer
And you,
Um,
co-pilot.
yeah. And also he would do all the like grindy stuff that I hate doing, like getting the skill trees up and like selling all of the like shit that I collect and forget about in random chests around the house.
yeah, I'm like more of a completionist, and you're
Wreck
like
me.
in it for the story. So we
Yeah.
trade off. Like when the story it gets too difficult to progress in the story, then I'll start like googling like what the best boots are to wear if
Like,
you're in
yeah,
this
we need to
play
get out of
style,
here.
and then what quest to go on to get those boots.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't.
But I guess so. The short answer to that question would be we collabed a lot on The Witcher 3, and that was
Oh,
super.
that was such a good game.
Yeah,
Damn. Can't believe I didn't say that.
I got you covered.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got your back on that one.
that was a really good game. Damn.
That's awesome.
Amazing
Also high
soundtrack too.
replayability.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you can get different endings,
Hmm.
but there's only one that I would settle for because if I'm not a good person in the game, that's like my biggest fantasy is being a good person and everyone likes me. Anyway, um,
Yeah. I guess that answers the mental health section of the questionnaire. So cool.
All of it. In
All
that
of it.
one.
All of it. There you go. Everybody, all your questions pertain to it. You just got one answer. So
all right, thank you so much for having me on this great
thanks a
show.
lot. Appreciate it. No, that's awesome. I like the. I don't know shit about video games, so don't ask me. I don't have a favorite. I mean, I played when I was a kid. Life's a video game. Like I can't sit. Like I'm more into like movies or sit and listen to music or try to read something. I literally will go buy 4 or 5 books and not even ever open them. but they're there. They're on the shelf. If
Mhm.
I ever want to read something, like I've got a whole library of things, and the go-to books that I've read over and over. Um, but it's so easy and convenient just to watch something and to have something on, stimulating. Um, I read so long, like when I was a kid, like that was my best friend is reading books, reading Lord of the Rings and Hitchhiker's Guide and um, Choose Your Own Adventure books are like so awesome. Like you could read a book 20 times and have different shit going on.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good desert island type of genre, I guess.
yeah, yeah. But I really get into people's passions for video games, like to spend hours and hours just, immersed in it. I think that's where the whole AI thing is melding with like a metaverse. Just like that Ready Player One apparently was a book. I had no idea. My friend that does video games I was asking her about the movie. He's like, "Oh, the movie's terrible. Like the book's way better." And I was like, "That's a book? They made a book out of that?" And she like basically unfriended me because I was like, I didn't know that was from a book. But
I also didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's so much easier to for me time wise to have something visual going on than being able to read it. But I'll go back and find a book and get into it. But then in my head, I'm like referencing what I saw in the movie. Um, did you guys know anything about that movie? Have you seen that? Ready Player One?
I have
I
not.
know of it. I haven't seen it.
Like I had the biggest high hopes for it because it had everything in the preview that you could possibly want. There's Ecto One, the A-Team van, all these people are using these vehicles in virtual video game world. General Lee from like Dukes of Hazzard, like every single thing, Optimus Prime, like all this stuff is in it. But then it's like that one preview is like the coolest thing in the whole movie. Like it they literally put it all out there as like this is this, and then you set through the movie and they have that one scene, and then the rest of it's like, but Transformers, Lord of the Rings, like where's all this other reference? It's like not there. Um,
Mm.
but it's cool concept. It's just another one of those people are playing a video game instead of living real life because the conditions are so horrendous. Um, Maybe that's some place that your character will go is into the future, like how Iron Maiden did with Eddie. Is like in the future, like good
Whoa.
concept. I would like to see how that would work out. But
That would,
that's my fan fiction story I'm writing.
you could do some like like steampunk, like airship, futuristic, not futuristic type of stuff. Honestly,
Steampunk space metal album.
hmm J-pop. Heard you mention J-pop earlier. Is that a thing? I was gonna say it should be.
oh, absolutely, it's a thing.
Is it a thing?
I was just thinking of like, so if we do like the synthwave thing, and then we can like bring in like the futuristic, you know what I'm saying? Actually, there's wow, what a great sandbox. I'm gonna stop myself before I like give away an idea that I want to use.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Zip it. Okay.
Moving on.
Moving right along. Wow, we've not been talking that long, but I feel like we've been talking forever. I guess that's a good thing because usually
It's
it's like
because
we're
we did
talking
one
for
of these
72
earlier
hours.
today.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. But
Wait,
granted,
who'd you have earlier today?
Ty.
we did
Oh,
Ty.
oh, right, right, right.
Yeah. He's the first person I met that talked more than me. I was relieved. I was like, I don't have to really say a whole lot today. That's great. But really cool stuff, and today is kind of our nerdy tying in video games and, pinball and metal and how it all uh, fits together and everybody in the community is just really cool and supportive. Um, that's something, I guess, Adrienne, if you feel like talking about some deeper stuff with mental health and staying healthy mentally for like everything you do. Like, I know you touch on this a lot on Patreon and stuff, but if you feel like giving people some insight, um, do you have recommendations of how, other than screaming out your agony in a metal band, um, other outlets to stay focused, um, to stay uh, somewhat positive, emotionally, and keep all the projects you have going? Like, um, I guess more life coach kind of tips for people, like what works for you. What do you suggest for people looking to do this as a career?
Okay, wait. So are you asking
Mhm.
for focusing on multiple projects? Or are you asking how to stay sane and like emotionally positive? Or are you asking like
All that.
these are like different, all big questions, all different topics.
All kind of tie in the same thing, is like organization, mental health, uh, focus, things like that. Other than what you did sort of touch on earlier, um, but what works best for you and your progression, because anyone that follows you and sees personal things you post, I mentioned this to you earlier. um, you've progressed quite a bit. Like, you don't seem like the same person. You seem to have lost a lot of that anguish, which is a good thing. Um, like, not so much, like, you're more confident and have more faith in yourself and your abilities. Like, realize you've played some pretty major things in front of tens of thousands of people. Someone that don't know jack ain't doing that, pun intended. Um, so sorry, it's a rambling sort of question, but I guess to sum it up for you, to make it simple, what's made the biggest difference? Like, do you feel the changes, like that I've sort of mentioned to you, for mental health and staying on top of all these projects without losing it? Because some people have to have all these projects going constantly. Some of our guests, we talked about this, and that's how they stay sane. Is like, I have to be doing something constantly. Ty said this. He's like, I'm one of those people that, like, I have to always be moving. I have to always be doing something. Um, and that's cool. But like, for me, that's sort of masking underlying sadness that you're never addressing. And it's cool. People can handle that. And that's how they continue to function in the world. Um, but do you feel like something happened that you could point to, or a time recently that's like, well, this is what made the biggest difference for you?
Absolutely. So I would start by saying that I absolutely agree. And I definitely used to be one of those people that needed to have 100 billion things happening all the time because partly because I had tied my entire self-worth up in my creative output and also my achievements. Um, there are a multitude of reasons for why that has been my personality for most of my life. We don't really have to get into that. I think a lot of
Right.
people can relate to that. A lot of workaholics are like, yeah, I am my work. My job is the most important and most interesting thing about me. I'm extremely high achieving. I deserve the good things because I work hard. And therefore now I have to earn my rest. Things like this. It was a very toxic way of thinking. And I think because I was exhausted so chronically from living like this was contributing significantly to my anguish. I wasn't able to regulate my emotions, and I didn't even really ever have a way that I could process them except for here. But in terms of something that I could point to that was the event that turned things around, besides the 3 years of EMDR, specific type of therapy that I've been doing, which I cannot discount at all. That has been like a fucking huge part of why I am the way I am now, and also why I can help my friends be the way they want to be. Is I finally went to a psychiatrist and said, my therapist sent me here. We suspect ADHD. Here are my long-term symptoms. Here's my day-to-day symptoms. Um, I would like help, please. And she was like, yep, that really sounds a lot like ADHD. Here are your medication options. And so I picked one. It's an as needed, quick release, non-habit forming. And fucking I can't tell you how much of a huge difference this made, because the day that I started it, it was like my brain finally worked, and I realized that like it wasn't my fault the whole time. It wasn't my fault that I needed to be doing things in order to, everything was due to a lack of dopamine in my brain. And so all the bad decisions I made were because I was like, just please anything that will make me happy for like a second. All the work stuff that I did, I had to do it because I just needed to be happy. My ridiculous work schedule of like cram the entire week of work into 3 days and then crash in bed for the other 4 days, ADHD. Hating myself for losing like tasks or like forgetting to reply for like 3 weeks or missing job opportunities because I've just like the email was like 3 pages back and it just didn't exist anymore, ADHD. Being unable to regulate my emotions, also partly to do with that. So once I got help with that, I also have a as needed anxiety medication, which just helps like reduce the physical symptoms of a panic attack. So it's actually a blood pressure medicine, but it's used for performance anxiety. So it stops your heart from like fucking going.
Floating.
Yeah. And so that keeps your breath, like your brain doesn't like sense that your heart's going faster. So it doesn't go, hey, we need more oxygen. So you don't start hyperventilating. So it's much easier to just be like zen physically in your body. And then when you're like chill in your body, it's much easier to go, I observe this feeling and I see this thought. Here are the logical reasons why that's a load of bullshit. Thank you very much. Now we've processed it. We're going to put that away. And now I can focus on what's in front of me. So yeah.
Wow.
That's why I'm happier now, because I got help and it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, and not everybody's into having medication. And yeah, of course you should be careful with like what prescriptions you agree to. And you should of course do your research, what you're cool with, what you're not cool with. Personally, I've never really been into the idea of taking antidepressants. It's just not something that I want for myself, but I know that it works really great for other people. So like, I'm not here at all to like promote it or not promote it, but this is what works for me. And that's why I have lost some of my anguish. But believe me, there's plenty of anguish left to make another album. So don't you worry.
Don't worry, kids. There's always some in the tank.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, I know that because I have the executive function points, extra points now, like I have a whole cache of like normal amount of it. Now I can say like, this Adrienne who's been in the driver's seat for 28 years, like I see you and you're part of me, but you don't have to drive all the time. And you can sit in the driver's seat when we're writing music, because that's what you're amazing at. And you're also very empathetic. So like you can come out when we're talking to your friends and they want to say some stuff, you know? So it hasn't made me a different person. It's just allowed me the space to choose to not be fucking sad all the time. So yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's like really real shit. You know? My take really is that so many people, and like you were for a long time probably, is there such a stigma with I need help outside of me, like why can't I fix this inside of my head or myself? And it's that chemical. It's like we have the science that can say, well, you think these ways that aren't normal or aren't sustainable because of chemical imbalances and stuff. And the main thing is that people don't be afraid. Like that doesn't make you less of a person or weaker of a person. Just like, you know, have to wear glasses. Some people have hearing aids. There's all these things, you know, that are
I also have to wear contacts. Yeah. I also just have contacts for my brain now. But another thing that really stopped me for a long time from getting help outside of just going to therapy was like, I thought that I wasn't sick enough, or I thought I wasn't bad enough, or I'm like, well, I'm not actively trying to off myself, so I must not be depressed enough. I must be making it up for attention. Like, I probably just did this to myself. It's not even real. And I found out that this feeling of not being good enough or not being X enough is also related to ADHD, because we spend our whole lives trying to fit into a system that doesn't work for us. So of course we're not going to be morning people enough, and therefore we're like lazy workers. We're not good enough. We're not getting good enough grades because the school system doesn't work for our brains, or do you know what I mean? So we're just
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
constantly like in our head, it's like drilled into us somehow. We're just not enough, and we're never going to be that. We're never going to be able to reach that. So yeah. But then I got medication and realized it wasn't my fault. It was just my brain. So
Right.
yeah.
Just needing that little kick, but
Yeah.
it's so
Just the
cool,
perspective.
right? That you, it's like a duality. So that part of you is still there, and you can draw on it. Like sometimes you need to be that person, that person, like you said, the driver's seat. That sounds very much like something a psychiatrist would say as an analogy, and you may have heard that in a session. Is it more people, I think, would function better that way. It's I don't know if it's different personalities, but it's like you have all these emotions that have been created inside of you from different things you've experienced, and there's certain times when those certain experience will benefit you. In your case, writing this crazy music and telling this story that has tapped into part of who you are based on experiences. Um, but so many people associate that from what we're told as like, well, you're schizophrenic, or there's something really uh, wrong with you mentally. But the fact that you're like, no, I decide when I want the sad person to write music. I decide where I'm going out and doing like normal human things during day walker time. I'm not this person. So I think it's making the best of a situation based on that part of you that's come from those experiences to help. I
Yeah.
guess I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not exactly like a different personality comes out. It's like okay, without medication, it's so much harder to do things. And so I'm just not able to show up as my full self. And like if I were to go out and smell something that reminded me of some sad time, then I would the loss or the grief or the like horrible anxiety of remembering a certain time, or like somebody's cologne, or like a certain food that I ate and almost died. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like that would hit me so much harder, and I wouldn't be able to regulate myself and say like, hey, we're 28 years old, it's 2023, we're in a mall, we're with our friends, it's all good. But when you can't regulate that, it takes you right back to when you're 21 years old and you made like a horrible mistake, or like something terrible happened to you, and because I was always pushing my feelings down, I never processed certain things. And so I would just get like fucking triggered right back in. So I would be like reliving it, basically. This phrase, the body keeps the score. Um, so the body remembers like these horrible things. And so
Right.
yeah, like I said, it's not exactly a different personality, but it's more like a different age shows up, and that can be incredibly disruptive to like normal everyday life. So yeah,
Right. It's more of regulating your responses to things that
exactly.
before you probably couldn't manage as well.
Yeah. And sometimes like a lot of people like learned how, this is actually carried a lot of shame around this for a while too, but like a lot of people just learned how to do certain things, like and some people got good at communicating, and I didn't, because I spent my whole life writing music by myself. And I mean, I have a great music career to show for it. It's still growing, of course, but I am very proud of how far I've come, and especially in the time I've spent on this earth. So everybody spends their energy in the way that they will, and I spent mine the way I did, and this is where it got me. But now
Right.
I have holes in my education, and I'm catching up. And it's
Right.
very humbling.
Right. Well, and Jack, this is probably similar for you. Um, you wouldn't be who you are as an artist without all the stuff that happened. It probably wasn't the greatest experience, but how many people are writing epic things out of just really super happy, positive things? It's like, I think it's harder. I think happiness, especially for metal, maybe not just metal. I think it's harder to express happiness through art than sadness. That's just my observation. Like, you know, if you had had a perfect childhood, if you had had a perfect upbringing, you were like Mr. Popularity, are you still writing amazing music? Are you still painting amazing portraits? You always hear of, like, it's always the lonely, sad, starving, unknown artist is like the greatest. That's just what I'm seeing. Do you know of anyone that's like art came from positivity? Like, does that just not exist?
Yeah, I think, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen, what kind of makes it that way is that it's sort of like what Adrian was saying. A lot of us grow up with music or art or our instruments as our only way to like accurately express how we feel, or it's the only safe spaces when we're alone to actually get those feelings out. And so it's more common for it to be sadness or grief or loneliness because it's the only thing we know and the only like place we can really hide behind something, or like maybe the only, like, we can't tell the people around us because they'll think X of us or something
Mm.
like this. So I think it's
I have an
it's
example. Um, I don't know for sure if this is a happy album overall, but Bilo 4 by David Maxim Micic is absolutely fucking gorgeous. And this last song, I'm pretty sure it's a happy song. It's just like it's the uncertainty of like, is it safe to be happy? Like, are we there? Did we make it? It's I think we made it. Like, and it's happy, but it has this like, hey, we weren't before, but like maybe we finally got there.
Right?
Really, really recommend listening to this album if you have like, I don't know, an hour or something. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. So send me a link and I'll put it.
Sure.
I'm just like, I would really like to hear something like that. That's really cool. Like, it's okay that this might be okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Right
But I
on.
think like even in that case, it's like somebody who has went through blah blah blah. Blah. Like they always say like, okay, you have to play slow so that when you play fast, it sounds faster. You have to write the sad stuff so when you have the happy stuff, it sounds happier, and vice versa. So I think having one happy song or like a happy album in the context of your full palette of emotions is much more impactful than basically doing the musical equivalent of horny posting on Maine.
yeah, it also
Adrienne
like
Cowan, 2023.
like like
Right. Put that
happy,
on a t-shirt.
sad, yeah, like happy, sad, angry, like these are all really basic feelings that like you like if you just say in a song like I am happy, this doesn't mean very much. But so there's a lot of specificity in things that resonate really strongly with us. And so like Adrian's example, it's it's the happy means more because of, is it safe to finally do this because of all this other shit that I went through? And that's a much more complex feeling than just, this ice cream tastes good and it's sunny out or something like that. So,
But it
or
tastes so good because we went through a Massachusetts winter where we had 6
yeah,
blizzards.
or this sorrow, this sadness, this loneliness is so much more powerful because of these happy times that I had before with, a person or something like this. Like there's this Swallow the Sun album that's like a really great example of this, where I mean it's a horrible story that the main writer basically lost his wife to cancer and she was going through this battle the whole time, and there's just this album of him chronologue or like cataloging his process of dealing with this grief, and it's just one of the most moving musical pieces for me because of that, because you can hear the sound of him knowing that that joy won't happen again. And that's like, that's different than I'm sad.
Right. It's
Damn. I'm like tearing up just thinking about that album. It's absolutely incredible. And the one after that's so good
Sorry.
too.
Damn,
No,
I'm making you cry again.
yeah, this always happens. No, but like, didn't you tell me he's
Damn
like,
it.
the new album, I hate this album because it's about life without her.
Yeah, there's one after the one I was just talking about that's even more like
My tear towel.
What's who's the artist, Jack? I'm gonna check it out.
Swallow the Sun.
That's the band.
That's the band. The
Okay.
album is called When a Shadow's Forced into the Light.
Wow, that
And
that
then
already sounds like heavy.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like
So good.
amazing musically.
Wow.
Yeah, and production wise, just gorgeous too.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah. Not often it like fills in all the blanks for you.
Yeah.
It's either this crazy, super in-depth story, but it's hard to listen to, uh, tech wise, production wise.
Looking at you, black metal.
They did what they did with what they had to do what they did. So
Yeah, it's a vibe.
yeah, but
I
yeah,
also had that Fisher Price microphone cassette deck.
I'll just go on record saying the remixed, remastered version of Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia is way better than the original.
Hello, Metal Sucks.
Yeah,
You won't
there we
believe what Jack
go.
Costa just said.
You won't believe it.
Cancelled.
You're not allowed to have an opinion about stuff in any genre ever.
That one old man that yells at clouds is going to be very upset when he hears what I just said.
Oh my gosh, killing it.
We didn't talk about organization. Can we talk about this?
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm doodling on my notes and everything's kind of sort of tied together.
Yeah, that's usually how it is.
But I imagine getting your mind right, as they say, like the organization probably happens a lot with more clarity after that. It's sort of like you have this tornado happening. It's like, well, how can I get my driver's license when there's a tornado happening? But yeah, please talk about organization and if you've noticed a difference pre and post emotionality with organization happening.
The only thing that's really improved in terms of organization is my physical spaces, and also that I reply to messages better now. But I also tried. I'm very much like a physical calendar. I need a pen and paper agenda.
Hey.
I need like multiple ones. Jack tried to put me on the like whole e-calendar thing last year, and it worked for like 3 months, and then I just was so sad and like gave up on everything. So it just wasn't working for me. But like right now I have like a month at a glance, but then it's also a week at a glance. And then on each day there's like room for your tasks for the day, and then there's also like 6 a.m. through 10 p.m. So you can like physically write in everything that you need, which is really useful for me because if I don't see that I have something planned, it doesn't exist. And so I accept more work and then I burn out. So I need to see, yes, I will spend a 2-hour block doing this thing today, and I will spend 3 hours cooking with my mom on Thursday. And I also have a band meeting for 1 hour before that. So Thursday, I'm probably not going to get that much work done because I'll have spent like 2/3 of my executive functioning points on those 4-hour blocks there. So that's the home management. But in terms of like juggling 4 bands, is it 4 bands? 4 bands and a Patreon and a Twitch channel and whatever the fuck else I do. Oh yeah, a home life and taking care of myself.
And living like the world out there, touching some grass.
I would love to touch some grass, believe me. But like It's like real feel 118 here most days, like between real feel 105 and 120. So sometimes I just go out and like sweat and just accept my fate as a fried egg. But most of the time I cannot go outside also because my allergies are really bad. And then when it's like humid, the allergens and the air then stick to my hair and then I bring it into my bed and then it's on the pillowcases and then I break out and then I feel bad and it's like this whole fucking cycle. And I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I literally feel like I live in a fucking sauna on the surface of the sun. It's rough. So, yeah, in terms of like the long-term like yearly scheduling, it's pretty hard at times, but we try to like accept tours as much as we can and like juggle things and like call a fill-in. Like I called Chiara to sing on this Masters of Ceremony tour so that we could do the Dragon Force tour. But yeah, usually with a band like Avantasia, for example, they tell you like almost even like a year in advance, like, hey, block out this time because we're trying to do something. And then I know I got to block out that time.
Right.
Right. And it's not necessarily that I value one band's art more than the other. Of course, like my soul is here with Jack, with Pete, with Dovis, making Spire's music. But everything that I do has like a great value to me in one way or another. So it gets hard to make sure that there's time for everything. And to like stay motivated for everything. Actually, somebody in my Patreon talked about this. It's like if your life and your motivation is a big wheel, if you only have one peg that you're turning it on, your back's gonna get real tired and you're just not gonna like want to do it. But if you have like many pegs, then you can just fucking stand there and like turn it and keep it going and keep it like picking up momentum. And so it's much easier to stay focused when you like can get tasks done and see that things are moving forward, and then you do something else and you see that thing's going forward, and then suddenly you're progressing in like 5 different areas of your life and you feel like fucking great about yourself. And then it's time to take a break so that you can continue to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
The time for self-care, a lot of people don't put that on their schedule or their calendar. And it's like, yeah, because you can't do all this other amazing stuff without like the self-focusing time, you know,
It's true.
relaxing. Just we talked about distractions in another session. It was a heavy thing. Like people think that, you know, watching movies or just going for a walk or exercising or something that's like not this giant machine of being an artist or a musician. It's not necessarily a part of that, but it is a part of that, you know.
Absolutely. Even what you choose to eat can impact, I mean, as you know,
Oh
can
yeah.
impact your mental health and your physical health. And if those are both down, then how are you supposed to make the art that you want to make?
Yeah,
No.
unless you're just anorexic and then all your songs are just like this crazy, just super depressed, almost dying state of insanity.
Who are you talking about?
Who? What?
Who whose art are you talking about?
Oh, none. I was just saying if you don't do some of those things,
Oh, I
uh,
see.
yeah, it was just a for example. No, I don't
Oh,
know that that's somebody. I hope it's
I
not
thought
I'm
you
somebody.
sure
were,
there's somebody
Uh,
out there.
yeah.
yeah, someone in that pop genre of if you don't look this way all the time, you're not famous anymore. I couldn't imagine that. You know, like it doesn't even matter what you sound like; it's just how you look that makes you artist or entertainer or musician. Um, that's like next level insanity. Like, but people think that's what makes them successful artist or entertainer. Um,
This is a pretty deep topic that I'm not ready to dive into
yeah,
this.
no,
Because I will debate you for like a fucking lifetime on this, but I'm not going to.
yeah,
I
no
have a
worries.
really like
Save me, Jack.
semi
I'm drowning.
insider. What?
I said, save me. I'm drowning.
Oh
So,
no, I this is not for public consumption, but I'll tell you guys about this later. But I have a really awful like semi insider like business reason why that is the perception of that thing, and like why the pop industry is so much like this, and it has nothing to do with like the actual image or anything. But I'll save this for another time because this is also like quiet things that I probably shouldn't say out loud.
Yeah. Now, we want to be able to do this for a long time.
Yeah, I don't want like the guy from
Uh,
Warner Brothers to like put a hit out on me or something.
I also don't want that.
Nah, no. What are you talking about? Don't even say
Not
that.
this, apparently.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about playing music and stuff and feeling good. How about that, guys? Let's do that. Talk about that
Absolutely.
stuff. No, I mean, we've covered quite a bit. And, Jag, I think we're honing our 2-hour skills and doing pretty well with.
Yeah, we've dropped it by an hour very fast.
And then I'll be like, oh, hey, I want to mention this one thing, and there's 40 minutes gone already. This is interesting because this is something I noticed very early on as a fan of Spires. Can you give the nickel tour of the Roy Khan? That seems to be like a Spires. It's almost like lore, like, and people seem to be very polarized by Roy's performance with you guys. How did that happen? I know there's
Who's polarized?
like
Who doesn't
well,
like that?
I read, and I mean, this is reading people's comments. Like, someone was like, "Oh,
that was your first mistake."
Well, I'm like Simon. We talked about this before. I read everything. Like, I want to read everything. I want answers to things. I like knowing what people think and how people have perceived things and their
Sure.
reflection back.
Okay, I have seen some nasty comments. I did see one guy was like, "This is the worst thing to happen to his career."
Right,
And I just want to say that Roy does not take jobs that he doesn't want to do. He only does things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
I know this because Sasha told me. And so, therefore, I know from not only adopted music dad, but also other adopted music dad, that they liked the song, he liked the song, and he wanted to do it. He also, in our email exchange, said multiple times that it was a great song. And that's how you know I'm not lying.
Right. Well, I mean, he did the song. Like, someone to even say that, it's like, wait, are you his manager?
No,
did you have an argument with him personally about why he shouldn't do this? It's like the arrogance and audacity of the keyboard warrior saying this is the worst thing you ever did. And I was like, I shot back. I was like, dude, this is the best decision he ever made. He knows what's good, and he knows the direction the parade's headed. So, like, yeah, if somebody said, hey, you want to get in on this thing, like at this level, be like, hell yeah, that's good. I need somebody telling me that's good or not. I have ears. I have quite a successful career in this industry. I think I know something's good I want to be a part of, but sorry, that's logic. I'm adding logic and common sense into the internet chat.
Well, you can't logic your way out of YouTube comments. He'll be here for years.
Right.
I also don't care because that guy does not. He's not like, where's his album? Where maybe he's in a band. Great.
Yeah, where's your song with Roy Khan? We can compare when you make one.
Yeah, then I'll be the one being like, I feel like this was like the second worst thing to happen to his career. The first one being link and comments.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but yeah, I like that's whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
I no matter what anyone says about the song, no matter what anyone says about him like choosing to sing it with us live at that show, like, the coolest part for me was that, like, he chose to spend like the majority of that weekend at Prague Power just hanging with us, like talking about life and eating sushi and like,
he got sushi with us.
Yeah, a few times actually, and like he chose to just hang out with us and talk all night and just be a person around us, and I feel like that says a lot more than any YouTube comment could say about the quality of the song or whatever. Like, if you don't like the song, great. If you do, that's also great. Like, and whether Roy liked it or not isn't like part of the debate. It's like he chose to spend time with us as
Right.
equals, and it's like
That
badass.
probably meant actually the most.
Yeah, he spilled miso soup on me. Actually, that's like my like claim
That's
to
your
fame Roy-Con
initiation.
story now is like
Yeah.
he spilled miso soup on me in a great sushi restaurant.
That's how he bonded with you. He's like,
Super cool guy. His whole band is super cool, actually. If you don't
Mm.
know Conception, definitely check it out. For those of you who are Camelot fans that didn't know about his like old and current band, great stuff.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I saw that they are playing, I think, Prague Power this year. Conception.
Last year.
Oh, was it last year?
Yeah, they played the year that we did. And
Oh,
that's why
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because he joined us, and then I sang with him,
Okay.
and it
Right
was
on.
really cool. Yeah, it was like the old switcheroo.
Yeah. like how are you singing your song when you're like, Roy Khan's right here singing? Like, am I supposed to be singing this part?
I could like barely look him in the eye. I actually like threw up that morning because I was so nervous. Because I mean, this is an artist that I've looked up to since high school.
Right.
Like that voice was with me in like very dark times. This lyricist is like one of my greatest influences. So it was like, it was a big fucking deal for me.
All of the rest of us band members, like of his band and our band, we all got together on a Zoom call without the singers the day before, and we're just like, let's trade. No, I'm kidding.
But
Cool.
yeah. I mean, what other lore is there? I don't know. We were like walking to, I think that sushi place. We were going to meet you guys or something, and I think we were talking about Patreon or something, and this guy who was going to the festival on one of those like bird scooters or whatever, like wiped out in front of us, and I'm only laughing, not at his misfortune, but he like, I thought he wiped out because he was like, "Oh shit, it's Roy Khan!" But because, to use his words, Roy looks a bit different now than he did in the Camelot days,
Right.
and so then I like spoke to this guy like much later, and he was like, "No, I had no idea that's who that was. I wiped out because I saw you, and then I was embarrassed."
Oh
And
shit. You're Roy Khan now.
No, yeah, well, no. But then, so this guy ended up going to the Conception meet and greet with like a cast on his leg or like a bandage or something. And Roy was like, "Hey, how's your leg, bro?" So,
I'll also say Roy has like the best incognito "I'm not working right now" disguise I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's not like anything elaborate, but he's like
wait, don't.
No, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like on stage, he's Goliath. Like he's just like such a huge personality of like otherworldly like
entity
energy. And then off the clock, like you almost don't recognize him at all. Like, but also in a good way. Like he's just so chill and normal.
Right.
It's really cool.
I mean, that's the consummate professional. Like that's the top tier. Is they have that, again, that duality, like their personality as the singer, the stage entertainer, and I'm just a regular guy spilling soup on Jack, I think a lot of people at his level and above and in that area, like they always think they have to be the Goliath. I think you hit a certain level of fame or whatever, and that ego starts rising up, and you lose that connection to, like, I can also be like the incognito human being that's not this Goliath thing. But that's
I have
cool.
to interject and say I think it's actually the other way around.
Really?
I really think that it's the people who are doing less that feel, and I'm also speaking from experience, people that are doing less that feel the need to always be on in a way and like be their artistic self, and be the way that they want to be perceived as as their artistic self. And at some point, it happened to me when it became my job. I was like, oh fuck, I can't be this person all the time. It's exhausting. And also, like, why am I performing to literally nobody in the house? Why? This is stupid. I don't need to dress like this. I don't need to speak like this is dumb. I need to get away from work. Do CEOs go home and like stay in their fucking 3-piece suits? Like, I'm pretty sure they don't. So in the same way, like, would you recognize Avantasia in an airport, or is it just a bunch of like dudes in sweatpants? Don't know. You know what I mean?
Just a bunch of foreign tourists.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, people like really big fans do recognize them at the airport, but that's because they're big fans. They would know them anywhere. But I do think that like when your passion becomes your job, you have to make that separation, and people will just do that in whatever way works best for them. And for me, that's like, okay, you know what my studio looks like. You see that I'm wearing an outfit today. And then when I go back to my, like, where I actually live, it's not going to look like this. And I'm going to put on something that's not this. And I'll put my hair in like a college girl messy bun and slouch around the house and
sweatpants.
Yeah, exactly. My fireman sweatpants that I got on tour, and like dress like a fucking slob, except for the fireman pants because they look great. You know what I mean? Gonna wear my Vakken shirt that's like 3 sizes too big and like no makeup, and I'm not gonna be the fucking siren of the Eventide to guide you on the Boulder Shore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because like you said, who's there? Like, are you doing it just for yourself? Like, no. Why am I putting on a one-woman show for me?
But like, do you think Roy goes home to his kids and is like, once I believed I could find, like,
he should. No. Fuck yeah, he should.
I'd be like, wow, that's great, Dad. Okay, good night.
I don't want miso soup for dinner.
Right, exactly. Or do you think like Lady Gaga, for example? I was gonna say Lady Lightbringer. Do you think Lady Gaga goes to her house to whoever is there and is like rah 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 and like walks around in a meat dress? No, she's probably just like really chill at home, like doing nothing. Or not doing nothing, but you know what I mean. No, literally, like she's not going around.
She's a bad example. I get like
she's not
Madonna.
No way.
I would see Madonna at home. She's wearing the same getup as she wears on stage. That's just what I would.
Interesting theory.
Because like
if anybody can confirm or deny, drop it in the comments below.
Right. Yeah.
We'll start a poll. Like,
yeah, paparazzi. Do you have like blurry 600-yard super high definition lens pictures of Madonna like wearing the veil from like a virgin, like cooking breakfast?
Okay, in a metal example, Shagrath recently posted a video of him and I think his son at a festival. I think it was like the last Kiss show that they could see or something. And they're both like headbanging a little bit. And because he's got his hair in like a ponytail, no corpse paint, obviously, and just like a t-shirt. This man is not wearing his fucking In Sorti Diaboli like outfit with the white streak and corpse paint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's his career, is being in Dimmu Borgir. So, I mean, I'm not sure because I don't know him at all. We made eye contact one time and that was enough for me.
And you melted. And a little piece of you died inside.
Oh, now he knows I He saw me on the artist side of the stage. Anyway. Yeah.
Level up, spoon attainment achieved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Maybe there are some people that are like, maybe they're afraid to like lose the thing that they think people value them for, and so they feel like they have to continue to perform as this character.
Yeah.
At some point,
I mean,
you either let go of that or you die.
Right. It's not.
I mean, some people also do it because they're trying to like keep their personal and professional lives so separate that it becomes like a costume almost. Like certain people won't be seen without their makeup and stuff in public, so it's like they don't even exist. Like Abath or something like this. It's like really hard.
I was thinking of Abath too.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to find pictures and stuff of them without, or like King Diamond is like so
Right.
recognizable in
Sure.
his, but then he's just like a dude under all the makeup
Yeah.
and top hat and skulls and
Or
shit.
that band Skinned as well. Or like Ghost, for example.
Yeah, this is a great example.
Does Papa go home and his get
Crawling into bed in the like giant like rabbit ear hat.
Just
I mean-
wanna be.
These are all people that I hope do that, though. Like all these examples, like I hope they do
Well,
that.
that's why the illusion is so cool. You know, you
Right.
don't see them as like regular people, but that's also why you can get into trouble only like not thinking of them as humans, and why it's difficult
Sure.
to think of your favorite artists as like that is a person. Maybe I shouldn't be a dick in a YouTube comment, you know?
Right.
Because you
Yeah.
think, oh well, that's obviously the like, you know, Papa Emeritus the Third or whatever the fuck his name is these days. He's
Right.
untouchable. I can be as mean as I want. Like, no, his
Right.
name's